By Kate Forbes.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And I have to sadly, and I do mean sadly, say that I won't be able to take any interventions because I've only got 4 minutes. I'd have been happy to. There's still incidents of online campaigns and sectarianism in nature, and these are completely unacceptable. This is a job for a Parliament, is to look at these laws around the internet to see if they're tough enough. I want the authorities to act, get appropriate tools and legislation at their disposal to clamp down on this sort of behaviour. This is a comment from James Kelly on the 22nd of April 2011, coincidentally just about 2 weeks before an election, which shows to me that this has nothing to do with trying to improve the legislation and has everything to do with trying to defeat the government. This is a political stunt by two parties that have been working very, very closely together for quite some time just now. I've heard, you obviously weren't listening at the beginning, I've heard a number of people say that they can't understand why football was singled out. I would say that the people that are saying that don't know anything about the situation in the west of Scotland, because the one situation, the one defining picture of sectarianism in Scotland has always been football. It has always been. That's not where it all comes from. That's not where it deep down lies. All these things are being dealt with. But if we are trying to pretend that sectarianism in football hasn't been ugly brothers for some time, then we're not been paying attention. We've had to take on the sectarianism that was at football. We had to take on the antisocial behaviour at football. We had to take on the death threats that managers were getting. And I can't believe that you're keen to get rid of the Section 6, because obviously there's nothing to replace that. Absolutely nothing to replace that. It's a ridiculous thing. We've been told that what we should do is nothing, right? You said nothing, James said nothing. You said, no, what you said, we should do nothing. You should let the clubs deal with it, is what James told me yesterday and what James Kelly told me yesterday and what you're saying today. The clubs refuse to do anything. The clubs refused. The SFA wanted to bring in strict liability. The clubs said no. There was the two clubs, fans, supporters fighting in Hampden. The whole world saw it in the Scottish Cup final. Not one club was found guilty of anything. But that's the whole point. What we're saying is that there still has work to be done. So what you should do is you should go back to having less legislation, holding people less to account. You have to hold the clubs to account. You have to hold people to account.
Could members all talk through the chair, please, rather than be having private conversations in the chamber?
Officer. This is what happens at football matches all the time. Right? The clubs will not do anything unless we make sure that there's legislation in place for them. We have to keep the Offensive Behaviour Act. We have to make sure, we have to send out a message that we take this seriously. Now, I know that there's nobody in here that's complacent about sectarianism or anything like that. I just say that you say that we're wrong. I say that I honestly believe the message you would send out by repealing this Act says that you do not think that there's a problem there that still has to be dealt with. And that is a message. I know that's not your intention, but that is a message that will be loud and clear to people all across this country. And I have to tell you, I know lots of football fans. I've been a football fan for longer than most of you have been alive. And many, not you, Jackson, not you, and many of the people I know support this bill, because they want to go to a game, they want to enjoy their football, they want to take their children and their grandchildren, and they don't want to have to listen to the rubbish that I had to listen to when I was a kid and what my sons had to listen to when they were kids. So support this, support the government, do not support the motion, because this is a flawed motion. Thank you.
I call the last of the open debate speakers is Kate Forbes. I can allow you around 2 minutes, please, Ms. Forbes.
Great. Presiding Officer, the reason I'm supporting